Hey, Ms. Bach here, and I wanted to share a quick tool if you have been wondering, hey, what's the kit that I need if I'm going to be doing a podcast while I'm traveling? This is something that I thought about when I was on the move doing an internship in San Diego, traveled to Australia and wanted to book a couple interviews while I was there. And I needed everything to fit in my backpack and not take up all the room in my backpack because everything else needed to fit in there too. This is particularly useful if you are doing an audio only show, which I am a big fan of. But if you are doing video, the best thing that I can recommend is using your mobile phones or having the most up-to-date mobile phone that you can have. I mean, I have an iPhone 12 mini right now, and I'm sure the iPhone 15 is coming out this year. This works perfectly. This is what I'm using to record this even right now. It's the most accessible when you're on the go. So having a tripod of some sort, a desk stand tripod, if you need, can be helpful. I like to use the Gorilla Pod. I'll link that thingy in the description, but basically that is a pretty good table stand. I have another tripod recommendation, which is UB size. That's a very nice stable one that can go up pretty high if you need, and it can fit in a backpack. It comes down pretty short as well. So tripod is pretty useful if you're going to have a camera or added element in that way. But again, I think adding the camera, of course, there's just a little bit more barrier to recording when you're doing it that way. The next thing that you're going to need is your audio, right? This is the main meat of it. You need your audio to be good. We can tolerate bad video, but audio, we need to be as strong as possible. So you're going to need a microphone, right? So whether you have the nice Shure SM7B or you have handheld nice Shure SM48s, that's like a $40 microphone, easy to hold in your hands. You can buy multiple of them if you need. Let's say you're going to be doing guest episodes, right? Or mostly solo if you want. You need something to record into. So most cases you would be able to do this into your laptop, right? Recording into Riverside, into Adobe Audition if you wanted, recording into Descript. But because you are doing an in-person show, let's say you're on the go, you're going to need the Zoom H6 or a version, some type of a recorder. You've probably seen the big boxy things with a bunch of knobs on it. You could definitely have that as well. I think this is pretty efficient. I honestly bought this 7-8 years ago when I first started podcasting and needed this for the first time. And I spent, I think it's $350, and it's still working perfectly to this day, and I use it. Now, the thing that you're going to need with your microphone is a XLR cable, which is just like this thingy right here. It's going to plug right in there. And then for your guest, if you have one, you can have up to 4 that plug right in there, and everybody gets their own individual track. So I found that to be the most accessible because all you need is 1 or 2 microphones. You need this Zoom H6 recorder, which fits in the palm of your hand. And then you need a tripod and your mobile phone if you want to have a backup recording. Maybe you want to make some clips out of it. You want it just in case to document the experience. That's really the simple version of what I would take with you on the go. The Zoom H6 is pretty simple to maneuver, where if you really didn't have a microphone on hand and you wanted, it comes with its own little microphone. It's not amazing, but you could put it in the center. You could speak directly into it. I've actually done that at live shows and things like that, where you put it in the audience and it picks up audience sound. So it's pretty cool for that, but really you can control the gain with these knobs here and get it pretty precise when you turn it on, because it's dusty. You can tell I haven't done a traveling or in-person show in a little while. But basically, when you've got everything plugged in, you can see each individual track's meters going up or down. And the thing that I like with this I use a Tascam DR10L, which is a lav mic, and it records directly into its own little recorder. The only downside with that is that you can't play back and really hear it unless you have the wired headphones. So with this, the thing that I like is there's somewhat of a speaker here where if I really quickly wanted to play back and hear it, I can do that. So this is the main tool that I would use. Again, I think that if you are doing remote shows, of course, while you're traveling, you can pull that off. Lighting is really huge as well. That's going to affect the quality if you are doing video, but in that case, use natural light where possible, and that should help you out. Again, video is nice as a backup, but I encourage you to really think about audio only podcasting. My most successful shows that I've done have been audio only, that I've even gotten to work on. And the video has added a different element to it for sure. It adds layers of production. So if you want to look like the Joe Rogan studio, and you want the lighting and you want the cool desk and you want to rent the studio at time and or buy it yourself, like that's a lot. But what I like is if you do an audio only show, people feel less resistant to it as well, where it's like, oh, I don't have to like get beautiful for this recording where I feel a little like, oh, I'm being observed. It's a little more, hey, don't worry about the video. Because I've done that too. People are a little different, especially if they're not used to it. When you get them and there's a camera in front of them versus, hey, don't worry about it. There's nothing except just talking into this. It can feel a little bit more like a natural conversation for people in identifying the top tools and kind of the mindset behind putting it all in your backpack when it comes to being able to take your podcasting equipment with you on the go so you can keep recording, avoid interruption, even in your busiest seasons. The same way when I was coaching dozens and dozens of fitness clients and they were like CFOs and stuff like that, they would bring bands and TRX things that they could actually do inside of their hotel room, even during all this crazy hectic travel, right? We figured out a way to fit it in. So the same thing with podcasting, I find it encouraging. It's a good reminder for myself, even sometimes where, hey, wherever you're going, bring it with you. It's like a book on vacation. You might not read that book, but it's nice to have access to it and know that, hey, if I feel inspired, I have an idea, all I need are these 3 things that take up half of the room in my backpack. So if you found this useful, check out more tools and free stuff in the description below. But thanks for hanging out. I appreciate you, and I will see you next time.